Had a great idea for a video today. I mean, I don't know if it's a great idea, but I was gonna get into the trending bandwagon, but do it properly, because all the ones I've seen, they've not done properly. I was gonna do a mailing myself in a box video, but it turned out the box was too small, it didn't fit me. So hopefully I'll find a box that fits me and I'll do it one day. But you know, unlike the other videos that say, mail myself in a box and it totally worked, must watch, for real, not clickbait. Mine will be for real. I'll use FedEx. They let you carry people, right? I'm sure they do. But anyway, as I was saying, since that idea didn't work, today's video is gonna be about why I moved to Sydney, as some of you have requested. I'm also going to talk about my experience, what it's like to move to a different country, and similar stories. But anyway, now it's time to find my car keys so I can go home. Bang. So much traffic today, it's never like this. Oh gosh. At least this is the place with a nice view. Cadê a Emily? It all started when I decided I wanted to do a very short theology course. Generally theology courses go for a long time, and I didn't think that I had 3 years to do one. My first choice was to go to Hawaii and do a 6-month course. Just like to meet people and get a different perspective on certain things. And I was going to do that before I started my computer science degree in Brazil. But my grandfather convinced me that I should probably start my degree first and then see how we go. And then I did my degree for 2 years. And halfway through the second year, one of my friends was like, hey, my daughter wants to go to Hillsong College. Have you heard of Hillsong College? No, I knew Hillsong has like a band and they have music and such, and I didn't really like the music much. I used to listen to other things. This is my church, by the way. I do like the music now. And then I went to look for it to answer his question, and I decided, hold on, this is what I want to do, because they have a 1-year course, and this seems perfect. In 2006, end of 2006, I decided that's what I'm gonna do. I'll apply for a visa and all the things I need to do. My grandfather helped me. He paid for everything, so big thanks to him. So I paused my uni in Brazil, and the 1st of February 2007 I arrived in Australia for the first time. And I caught a train from the airport to Redfern, which is near the church where you have milk over your hair now. I hope you're paying attention to my story, because she's very distracting. I planned this whole trip, so I printed a map from Redfern to church, and I got to Redfern, and I don't know what I did with the map. I think I left at the train station at the airport. So I kind of tried and asked people, you know where this place is, where this Hillsong church is? And no one knew. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what place am I going that no one knows? People who live around here don't know about this place. But I got there and there was this really nice people already waiting for me. It was amazing. And they're like, oh, we'll take you to your apartment and you help you buy things that you may need, like bedding and stuff. And there's this thing happening tonight, which was youth. I got to youth, I didn't understand anything they said. Honestly, I mean, I didn't understand a single word they said. When people were standing up, I stood up. When people were sitting down, I sat down. At some point, I think there was some tug of war or something, because they brought a rope and there's this madness happening. Yeah, laughing at me. I was terrified. I'm like, what English did I learn? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand anything they're saying. That's my first experience with Australian English. It took me about 3 months for me to be able to understand 90% of what people were saying in lectures. True story. We need to pause the story a little bit because we need to open our advent calendar for today. You ready? That's the spirit. Okay, what's the day today? 13! Yay! It's a big one! Oh, it's another model magic. They were gonna build a reindeer. The activity says, Donner, Blitzen, and the rest of Santa's team are pooped. Shelly, what does it mean to be pooped?
Tired.
I thought it meant that you pooped yourself.
I'm like exhausted.
That makes so much more sense. I still can't understand English, alright? It's not just the day I arrived. Oh yeah, let's build it, okay. Should I continue the story while we do this? When I left Brazil, I was gonna leave for only 1 year and come back. I was sure that's what's gonna happen. 100% sure. Everyone else, including my mom, were like, you're never coming back. I know it. You're never coming back. So I was like, no, I'm coming back. 1 year, I'm coming back. 9 years later, I'm still here. 9 years? 10 years?
10 years in February.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't think I can continue the story and do this at the same time. It's very difficult. I'll continue the story after this time lapse. It's impossible to do this with her. She destroyed everything I built. She destroyed. You destroyed the reindeer's face. I never lived with other Brazilians, which forced my English skills to just grow exponentially. My first apartment I shared was a 2-bedroom. We shared with 2 other people for the first 2 weeks, and then the 4th one came. And a funny story I think the second day I went to the city and found this market, and I'm like, oh, look at all these amazing things you can buy in this market. And then I told everyone, I'm cooking dinner tonight, because I saw these chicken hearts, these beautiful chicken hearts. You know, in Brazil we eat chicken hearts. There's no such thing as a barbecue without chicken hearts. So I'm like, oh great, chicken hearts, very cheap, so I'm gonna make this stir-fried chicken heart thing that my mom used to make. And cooked. It tasted beautifully. I always taste before I serve food to other people, because I want to make sure it's good. They were all very excited that there was free food. That's one of the things students always like, is free food. They're all sitting at the table, and I brought the food. They were all very excited, and I opened the pot, and they were like, what the heck is this? I was confused. I'm like, what do you mean, what the heck is this? This is the chicken hearts. It's like the best part of the chicken. In fact, to eat this many chicken hearts, how many chickens had to die for this? And they were like, I don't know where you eat chicken hearts, but we don't eat chicken hearts. I was shocked that other people don't eat chicken hearts. Turns out there are very few countries where people eat chicken hearts, and Brazil is one of them. So if you are Brazilian and you go overseas, make sure you don't cook chicken hearts for your friends who are not Brazilians, because they might be shocked. Other than that, and some minor shocks, I found the Australian culture pretty good. I especially love the sarcasm. Australian sarcasm is, I think, potentially the best in the world. It was funny, I think in my second week here, like we did in the first month here, an Australian guy was talking to me. I was like, oh, how are Brazilian people? I heard they are lazy. I was just like, what? But today, I would have said, have you ever met an Australian before? Who is the lazier? I know the answer, and it's not Brazilian. See, I can say that because I'm Australian. I can say anything I want about Australians. I wasn't born here. But if you wonder what I'm cutting garlic. Oh, good one. And then comes a question, how did I stay in Australia? Because my plan was to come just for a year, but I ended up staying, right? This is what happened. I found out that Google had an office in Australia, and I thought, hold on, I really want to work for Google. That's not my desire anymore, but at that time it was. So I went there one day and gave my resume to someone at the reception. I was wearing shorts. It was great. As you can see, from my first month here, I already absorbed the Australian culture. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to come out of this, right? And then I applied online as well, because I think that's what the woman at the reception said to me. And I applied for many other places, so couldn't get a single job, even though I had, how many years? I had 4 years of experience. I was 20, but I had been working since I was 16 in IT. Couldn't get a job. And then towards the middle of the year, I got an email from Google, and I'm like, what? They're saying that they wanna talk to me. Like, this doesn't make sense. Have they read my resume? I haven't finished my degree yet. Do they know that? So to prepare for this course, I started doing all this research, and I found out that the next day, there was a developers conference that Google was hosting, and it was all sold out. The next day, I also had class. Obviously, what I did was I skipped class and went to the conference anyway, even though I couldn't register because it was full. And at the door, I was like, hey, I couldn't register, but I saw it online. You know, is there a way I can get in? That didn't work with Brandcast, by the way, where I went to look for Casey Neistat. YouTube is much more strict than Google developing. At the end of the day, I waited for like 20 minutes and like, oh yeah, we have space, come in. And in that place, I met some students from UNSW, the University of New South Wales. And then we talked and like, you know what, if you email this guy, he has a research group in the university. He might be looking for someone. So I emailed him, and after a few exchanges and a couple of interviews, I got a job at a company that was a spin-off from the university. So it was a research focused company. It was pretty cool. It was a casual job and I could do my hours, so it worked around my schedule. And because I was working with lecturers from the university, it was really easy to get to university. Although international students pay so much money that I don't think an Australian university ever denies enrollment to an international student. It was really expensive. And then because I graduated in computer science in Australia, I was able to apply for a visa, a skilled migrant visa, which gave me permanent residency. And through that, I got citizenship. It worked out pretty well. At the end of the day, I married Shelly anyway. I could have gotten citizenship through that. But it was nice to get it before we got married. I think getting permanent residency through a spouse visa is quite complicated and takes a long time. In my case, I applied for the visa myself on the website without a lawyer, without anything. I just read the instructions, which are very convoluted, especially for someone who doesn't speak English as a first language. Never got a reply from them. They didn't ask for more documents. They didn't ask for any clarification or anything. 3 months later, I wake up to a message saying, your visa has been granted. I'm like, what? They didn't even ask. I was amazed. Not everyone has the same luck though. I think it was fast for me because I already had a job in the area and I graduated in an area that Australia needs people. I think one of the greatest things of moving here, even if it were just for a year, just to study for that year, was to see the world and things from a different perspective. That's one of the reasons why I love traveling so much. Even in Bible college, some things really shocked me. It was a shock to see how much of the Bible I was interpreting through the eyes of my own culture. And I think that's one of the favorite things from the year that I spent in Hillsong College, was to be able to see things differently and see how much of our culture influences the way we see the world. I did, however, meet quite a few people at Hillsong College that didn't make past their first year. Some Brazilians including couldn't finish the first year and went back home. So I guess it could be a big shock for some people. And yes, of course I miss my family, but in a way it was also nice that I could go out and not have to tell anyone what time I'm getting home. Of course that changed now that I'm married, but I'm not complaining. And I talk to my family through the internet all the time. I haven't called my grandparents in a while though. I feel like I need to do that. It's just so hard when you actually need to make a phone call, when he has a tablet, he has a phone, but it doesn't know how to use it. I have to call my mom to call him to turn on the tablet so I can call him on Hangouts or something. So much effort. But it's so much easier to go overseas and study and just move in general when you have the internet, because you can get in contact with people so easily these days. Oops. Uh-oh. That's just to say that the rice today will have this very characteristic toasted flavor. I hope it's still alright. Another thing that helped me adapt to the culture and to living in Sydney is that I made friends quite easily. You know, when you're part of a social group like a church, it's easier for you to make friends. I mean, if you don't want to make friends, if you want to just stay in your corner quiet and not open up, that's possible too. But that's not really who I am. And people sometimes ask me and Shelly, do you ever think of moving back to Brazil? To be honest, I think in any foreseeable future, we are living in Sydney, we're living in Australia. I'm not saying we'll never move to another place, but you know, I really like Sydney. It's not a perfect place by all means, but it's a very great place. The city's beautiful, it's quite a safe place to live in many aspects. I mean, I come from Brazil, so in all reality, most places in the world are probably safer than Brazil. I mean, depends where you come from Brazil. See, where my mom lives in Brazil is quite alright. Where my dad lives, not so much, but Sydney is great. I hope this explained my journey of moving to Australia, and I hope I answered most of the questions you may have. If you still have questions about any of the things I said, please ask them in the comments. And if there's enough, I can make another video about this, like a part 2, or even answer some of the questions in a video that is about something else. That works too. I hope you enjoyed. I do need to keep cooking. This is our dinner, and it's like 9 p.m. and it's not ready yet, and I'm already burning stuff. So I think I need to focus on this. Thanks so much for watching. I like you. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Having dinner at 9 p.m. That's not Australian culture, that's the Brazilian culture that I brought with me. When Shelly and I went to Brazil, it was an incredible shock. When we would leave the house to go and find dinner at 8:30 p.m. Shelly couldn't cope with it. I can't cope with the fact that at 9 p.m. the kitchens in the restaurants here close. I mean, I understand if you're 5, you want to go to bed at 9.